Hi there, this is Sarah with Dandelion Studios, and for this tutorial I'm going to be showing you the basic steps that I take in my Lightroom workflow when I start working with any image. I'm going to show you how I do camera calibration and I enable lens correction, and I set those as an import preset to save myself a few steps each time I import a batch of photos. So here we have an image. This is the basic raw image the way Adobe would import it on its own. This has been brought into Lightroom. You can see the camera calibration it's been given is just the Adobe standard profile. There's nothing really wrong with this profile. I just find that it's a little bit flat. Each camera has its own set of color profiles that come with it, and these are what would give, say, a Canon or a Nikon that signature look. These are embedded into JPEGs, but raw files they're not embedded, and so one of the first key steps that I like to take is to change what the calibration is that I'm using. So there are several here that were part of the Lightroom package of settings that came with Lightroom for my particular camera, and then there's some that are custom that have been created for this camera. So I'm going to show you, for example, so this is the Adobe calibration. This is the camera calibration for my particular camera according to Lightroom. And then this is the calibration that has been custom done. So you can see there's quite a difference in the vibrance and the contrast of the image there. And this is the setting that I use anytime I import a photo into Lightroom. So you can see that for different cameras, there are different settings that are available. This is a Nikon D800, and these are the different calibration settings that are available. This is the standard setting. Oops. So that's standard. For example, this is portrait. That's what your JPEG portrait would look like with the camera if you let the camera decide what setting it wanted to use, or if you had set it to portrait versus just your basic photo. I generally like a standard setting. I find that that gives it a good amount of color and contrast to work with. This is the Canon. This is 5D Mark III, and again you have a little range of options for how you want to change the color of the image. So also, while you're calibrating the color for the camera specifically, I enable my lens correction. So this enables the profile correction by clicking that little box. By default, it will recognize the camera make and model and the model of the lens. So this is all part of the metadata. As long as it's part of the metadata that you're capturing with your camera, then Lightroom will recognize it and automatically put it in. And then if it changes and it's incorrect, or if it doesn't recognize it, you can usually select from the list. Same thing for my Nikon. I'm going to enable the profile correction, and you see there's quite a big difference there. This will help with distortion and also with any other lens correction. These are the two big steps that I take to my photos when I import them into Lightroom. I also generally apply a bit of noise reduction and sharpening, which again are applied to JPEGs in camera and are not applied to raw files. So as part of the Inner Beauty collection, I've created two presets, one called Capable and one called Productive. And Capable actually includes noise reduction, sharpening, and the ability to enable the profile correction. Neither of the two, the Productive includes noise reduction and sharpening, but does not enable profile corrections, in case that's something that you don't want to do. And neither of them include the camera calibration, unfortunately, because that is specific to the make of the camera that you're using, and there are so many different makes and models of cameras out there that it's just impossible to create presets for them all. So what I would recommend is if this is a step that you would like to take for all of your images on import, that you go ahead and you select the calibration that you'd like to use on a regular basis if there's one that really fits all of your images, and then you go ahead, go over to the left here to your preset. You're going to right click on it and update it with the current settings. So this is before you do anything else to your image. So for example, you would say you always want to have the process version checked. You want to check the calibration, which is the color, and the lens correction, which is the distortion, vignetting, and anything else to do with your lens. And then, because the noise reduction and sharpening are already part of the preset, we want to click those so that it gives us a little bit of noise reduction and a bit of sharpening as well. And then I'm going to hit update. It'll update that preset. And then I can also go back in. I can right click and I can select that I want this one to be the one that I apply on import. So the next time I go to import a batch of images, it will apply this preset. And likewise, you could change and update this one. So for example, if you have one camera that's your main camera and then you have a different camera that's your backup camera, you could make this one your main camera and this one your backup camera with the different profiles if they're different, because often a different model or an older camera, even by the same manufacturer, will have a different profile. So that being done, the next steps that I take with my workflow are I adjust my white balance. So I'm going to brighten this up a little bit and warm it up here. And light green. I'm going to also slide that up a little bit. Oops. It's a little bit warm, but we'll see. And then I go ahead and I start with my base. I'm going to find my base. And so you can scroll through here and see what the different presets are in your preview pane up at the top. Deepest darkening. You can just scroll through and see which one you might want to apply. I think I'm going to go with Smart. She's looking pretty smart. And Spirited. Let's find the curve here. So I pick my curve, and I'm just going to adjust a bit for color. See if I can make it just a little bit more bold. Go up to the color and select Forthright, which should really bring out the leaves in the background. Alright, and so there you have my finished image. And we have the before and the after. And then if you also see, you can view down in your history. You can view what it was prior to the other presets. So this is our capable import. And then this is Smart, Spirited, and Forthright. And that is my typical workflow for working in Lightroom. Thanks for watching.